All right, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Doug Cundiff here, and we have special guest, John Scevola. And if you haven't recognized, and our best effort is, what we're targeting is the first Monday of each month. We'd like to have it product focused. And so, as you saw in the promotions today, John is going to talk about the Shaken. And if you've been on some of his calls before, not only does it do a deep dive into information that's available to us, but then the applications, the variations in using it, John's going to share or has shared in the past, and we'll see what's in store for the Shaken today. We've also, I think this group has done a tremendous job using the chat for communications back and forth. For questions, though, if you don't see the Q&A button and on your menu, if you click the more icon, you'll then see Q&A. So let's put any questions that we have that we'll save for later on in the Q&A part. That will make it a little bit easier to find. And one last thing before we turn it over to John. So John does it again. We're going to see it once again, a tremendous job using the going over the products. But questions that are, hey, can I use this for this condition or situation? We're not going to be able to answer those questions. So just be respectful of, why we're here today. It's education, it's the use, it's the application. But when it comes to conditions, these wellness products, we're going to have you do your own research and work directly with your clients or yourselves to make that decision. Okay. All right, John, thank you so much for being here. I know you spend time every time we have a call today prepping for this, so I'll thank you in advance for what you're about to share, but we'll turn it over to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. In the future, I'm going to provide a slide deck of things because I'm realizing I've got notes and I've got lots of stuff to cover, and it'll make it easier using a slideshow. So we'll talk about that. And I think we're talking about the next call that I will do will be on the P90 Plus and its attachments. I'm getting a ton of people ask me about that, and there's lots of people talking about these products, lots of excitement, lots of ideas, sometimes how they work, and sometimes they're not always right. And you got to find what resonates with you. I am not OlyLife. I am not the total expert on these things. I have been involved in this space for almost 40 years now. My wife's a homeopathic doctor. She checks everything I talk about. That's why I'm glad she's not here right now. So I'm going to say stuff she wouldn't probably approve. And but we're going to have her on future calls here in the very near future because she is a phenomenal expert in the quantum energy healing field, homeopathic stuff. And we'll talk about her in a moment. So the topic is the Shaken, introduced right at the end of last year, and has the interest and the excitement and the results are just amazing. And when I first got involved in OlyLife back in December, I got the P90 Plus and the wand, the Vitality wand, and I was telling my wife about the Shaken. She goes, "You order one of those. You need it." And I'm thinking, okay. So I said, I ordered one. Now, back then, we were talking a lot about the Shaken being a fat burning device. Okay. And I wanted to start with that because that's not compliant really in the US to talk about fat burning. Okay. And so a lot of our literature is shifting into talking about it's a smart body sculpting and gut health support device. Okay. If you go out there and lead, oh, I got the best fat burning, visceral fat annihilation device. You're going to lose 5,000 calories a day. All that stuff is not compliant. And we don't want to get in trouble with the FDA and FTC, and we don't get called out by competitors who are very jealous about the kind of products we have. So I want to emphasize, you really want to be thinking about this as a smart or intelligent body sculpting and gut health support device. And as a side, almost a side effect is that, yeah, you do lose interest. We have amazing talk, as people stressing in their testimonials that they're shocked how fast they've lost inches and whatever. But I'm predominantly going to be talking about gut health, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about losing inches, but this is not really predominantly about that. So that might disappoint some of you, but you'll find out why I'm talking about that this way. Personally, I have lost inches, and when I got my Shaken, my wife's going, "Oh yeah, it's working. Your shirts are fitting better, your shorts and whatever." And that was very pleasing to hear that when other people say that. But what I discovered for myself personally was the benefits of the gut health were way more important to me than even losing a few inches, because I'm 75 years old and I have gut health issues, and I had lower back pain issues, um, uh, heartburn, and so forth. And that's gone very quickly. My heartburn was gone. Okay. I no longer had to buy a case full of Tums every week, or my back pain and uh, stomach aches. Oh my goodness, this thing is fantastic. If you have indigestion and a stomach ache, and I would go, boom, I put my Shaken on, and within 15 minutes or so, my stomach ache is gone. And that's progressively gotten better and better and better because I'm improving my gut health. Okay. Now, what a lot of people are also realizing is you're also stimulating your vagus nerve. Okay. And I would recommend you go look up the benefits of vagus nerve stimulation, VNS. Okay. Go look that up. And you're gonna go order a Shaken today, or be using it every day or twice a day, because when you realize that this is helping to stimulate that in the stomach area, and a lot of the effects that we're experiencing are because of the stimulation. Reduced stress response. Okay. That alone is worth buying a Shaken in today's world. Improve heart rate variability, improve mood, better sleep. See, a lot of this stuff we're going, oh, I'm getting that, but you didn't realize that this very likely is because we're stimulating the vagus nerve. And I'm going to talk about how to actually accentuate that in a moment. Better digestion, better anti-inflammatory effects, pain modulation, and cognitive function, all from stimulating the vagus nerve. Okay, so go read about that, and it's not that easy to stimulate the vagus nerve. There's all kinds of techniques of humming and doing all kinds of different techniques and buying all kinds of gadgets and whatever. Well, we have this built in with our OlyLife products. One thing that you can do to accelerate that is using a vitality wand. Okay, and if you wand right below your ears, right here on both sides, you're accentuating the stimulation of vagus nerves. So you could lose your vitality wand separately, or you could do this while you're using the Shaken to save time. But it works synergistically beautifully. And I could spend a whole hour just talking about this, but I want to move on because I want to share some things about the Shaken that I don't think a lot of people realize. And then don't get off the call yet, because at the end I'm going to show you about 3 things that are really cool. And from all my other calls, I like really cool things, so I'm going to share that with you, and how to use the Shaken and get even more accelerated experiences, results with them. So let me just cover a couple of these things really quickly. So we're talking about a device for those who aren't familiar with the Shaken, that has 7-in-1 technologies: PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field, ultrasound, red light, RF or radio frequencies, heat, vibration, and massage. Okay, all together working for smart body sculpting and gut health support. So let me start with the smart part, the intelligent part. Okay, the Shaken comes with an Oly watch. Okay, everybody that's on this call that's been using their Oly watch regularly, put a 1 in the chat if you would. Can you check that for me, Doug? See what responses are. Okay, up until not too long ago, I would not have been the one putting the 1 in there. When I first got the Shaken, I thought, well, that's cool. And I put it back in the box to watch, because I was really hoping that this device would be really easy to use. Just press a button and it works. Okay.
We got about a dozen who said they've been using it.
About a dozen? Okay. After this call, there's going to be a lot more than a dozen are using that watch. I'll explain why, including myself. But I did discover, once you set it, you press the 1 and it remembers your settings each time. So although for about a week, I didn't realize it had 3 intensities. So I'm really loving it, but I was on 1 intensity. I hadn't read the manual. That's a typical guy, right? We don't read the manuals. Maybe Doug does, I don't know, but I don't read manuals usually, and it works. Okay.
We got about a dozen who
I
said they've
realized,
been
oh
using it.
wait, there's 3 intensities. About a dozen, and if you press the after this call, there's going to be a lot more than a dozen. I don't know what I'll explain why. 2 intensities, including myself. But I did discover what it was doing. Once you set it, you press the 1 and it remembers your settings. But it was simple. And I have a lot of distributors and a lot of customers. They wanted something simple. They didn't want something that's going to have to be a lot of programming and a lot of training. Okay. So really, it's that simple for a lot of those types of people. You press the button and you've got your experience. Okay. However, this device comes with a free Oly watch, which is worth hundreds of dollars. And it has the ability to pair through Bluetooth with the device, and you can press it and you can adjust settings on the Shaken and intensities and all that. And I thought, that's cool, sort of cool, but kind of complicated for a lot of my customers, right? And even myself, I'm thinking, I don't really need it because I just press the 1 button and it's working. So, yeah, that's fun, but I don't really, need it until recently, until I started researching more about this. Okay. Because this has an AI, artificial intelligence function. Okay. And most, if not all, of the future OlyLife devices are going to have AI connections and programming and be using Oly Watch. I figured at the very least I should be familiar with it. And then I had some customers asking me about the watch, so I started researching it. And I figured I should be really familiar with it because of the future devices. But then I realized, wait a minute, this can really be powerful using it with the Shaken. Because what's happening is, while you have this on your wrist, okay, it's scanning your body for temperature, oxygen, heart rate, stress. Okay. And then if you have it into the AI mode, once you have it all set up, all you have to do is hit a button. It tells the Shaken what mode and intensities to operate because of your oxygen level, temperature, heart rate, all those different things. So when I first experimented with that, it took me into a different mode that I never used, which was, I think, just the vibration mode. All the modes use PEMF, but there's a massage mode and just a heat mode. And I thought, nah, I'm just going to use all of them. I like to go everything, right? I'm from New York. I like to do everything fast. And so I'm out there full intensity, everything. But The AI said, no, John, you need this mode at this intensity, right? And it's kind of like a GPS. At first I used to hate GPSs because I don't like anybody telling me what to do. Right? And then I learned most times it gives you the best shortcut to where you want to go. And in this case, the AI is telling me, no, John, you need this mode at this time. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to start experimenting with that because I've never used that. Intellectually, I'm thinking, no, I'm going full blast, right? And the AI is going, based on your stress and oxygen and heart variability and stress and all this stuff, this is what you need. So, folks, get your manual out, experiment, and I think you're going to find that this shaken can do way more stuff than you realize. Okay. Now, a lot of
John,
us are excited.
John, if I could just jump in real quick. So think about how you started the call, right? And compliant wise, and we're focused on gut health. Well, we see all these technologies, so we think, oh, we need all seven to optimize ourselves. But if it's dialed in AI wise, reading you and what do you need for optimal gut health, then listen to what it's telling you, right? That's versus we think we want all seven, right? Let's listen to what the patents and everything are doing. I love that. I love that.
At the very least, as I'm thinking about this, try it for one session, right? Maybe in the morning you do, because a lot of us are doing this twice a day. So maybe let the AI do what you need in the morning, front and back, right? And then later on, 4 or 5 hours later, do what you want, right? But I suspect if we're getting even enhanced results, you may more and more say, AI, tell me what I need based on what you're experiencing and testing me for. A lot of us are very excited about an upcoming water machine product, okay, that will utilize a very similar function, testing you and then telling the water machine what minerals you need, what kind of hydrogen levels you need, all this kind of stuff. And future products are going to have this kind of coming. That's where we're going. So you need, at the very least, become more familiar with this. But I'm suspecting, because there's not that many people who are even using this, including myself, that we want to get familiar with this kind of technology. So I see maybe there's some hands raising. Do we want to address some of that as we
Just
go?
real quick, so about the watch, is there a question? Do I wear it only when using the shaken? I would imagine you're wearing it all day, John, and then it's reading, so it's getting all the measurements so that when you get ready to start the shaken, it's read your measurements for a period of time. Do
You
you have any
could.
thoughts on
I mean, it's a
that?
cool watch. I mean, it's a nice looking watch, has different watch faces, and it's testing you for that stuff. But for sure, you'd want to. I don't think you have to wear it all day long necessarily. I would wear it maybe half an hour or so before
Before,
you
okay.
shake. But I put it on and I ran a test, and very quickly, within minutes, it's telling me, John, you're stressed out.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and there's some things that you can program it for exercising and sleep and all kinds of stuff. And as we all get more into this, I think we're going to come up with more and more applications and results and so forth. Okay, I have a lot of other stuff I want to cover, but I'm
Let's
just
do
saying.
it.
I'm saying the watch. You want to watch the watch, okay? And become the expert in your group, because I bet most of your team is not doing this, but they're missing out on a very, very important component. And I know I was. I'm embarrassed to tell you, but um, it's important. Okay, a couple other real quick things. I get lots of calls. People don't know where the serial number is on this. Okay. I spent 15, 20 minutes trying to find the serial number. I finally had to contact my friend, Ricky Brandino. Say, Ricky, where's the serial number? He goes, John, you should know better. So where is the serial number of this thing, right? There's it's on the, it's stamped on the end of one of these things. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm trying to save you 15, 20 minutes of hunting for that thing. If you need the serial number for whatever reason, it's stamped on there. So don't call me or Ricky. check this recording. Okay, what else is cool? Oh, I bet you nobody knows this. So here, right here are two airbags on both sides. And when it's massaging you, it's filling those up with air and massaging you. I didn't know that until I was researching this. Okay. I bet a lot of you folks don't even know that either. But those airbags right there are filling up with air, massaging the sides of your belly. Okay, both sides. Okay. You know, I hate being the first in the world telling you this stuff, right? No, I love it. I love researching stuff. Figure this out. All right, what else do I know? PMF, all the modes you get PMF. So if you're in the heat mode or the body sculpting mode or the vibration, all of them, you are getting PMF. So let's talk about that for a moment. How do you test for that? So everybody with these get a little capsule, all right? It's amazing how nobody really knows what this is because it doesn't say right in the case. And so I regularly hear in all the chat groups are going, what is that little rock in there, or is this something I should plug into my Shaken or my device? Where okay, so this is to test PEMF, and when you have this on, okay, you go around the edge where the cushion part is. Hard to do this.
You got it.
And that little magnet's going to start jumping around. And it's verifying that this is putting out PMF, okay, in both those areas, okay? Now, here's something not a lot of people know, is if you drip a little bit of water on these little metal plates, it causes something called ultrasound cavitation, okay? So you can drop a little bit. I'm not saying you need to do this all the time. Maybe once just to experiment, or maybe if you're showing this or demoing it, you can show that it's putting out PMF. But if you drip a little water on while this is on, the water will stop bubbling. Whatever it's proving that this is putting out ultrasound. Okay. So I think it's really cool when we have little ways that we can test and show people it's putting out PMF. These little devices right here put out the heat. Okay. And then of course the red light. So you can show somebody the red light's coming out. You can touch your finger, if you want, and you can touch it. Oh, I don't know how hot it is, but it can get pretty hot if you have it all the way up. So I'm not recommending that, but that's where the heat's coming out. Now, here's something that nobody really thinks about. You can take a little bit of your gel. Maybe you have a P90 Plus and you have gel, or you have some other type of conductivity gel, maybe you got from Amazon or something else. If you just take a little dab, little soybean type, and put that on there, that will accentuate the ultrasound and what you're getting from the device, as long as it's touching onto your skin. That's actually a technique that you do when you've got, you're using the claw, and this, I'll talk about this next month. This is great stuff, this thing. But most people don't realize that one of the gels is for use with this, but most of us put it on the skin, all right? Actually, in the video manuals, they talk about putting a little bit of the gel on each of the tips of those, all right? Which makes a lot more sense because I'm thinking, what am I got this gel all over my body while I'm doing this? But the reality is, you could just, now it'll still work because what that's doing, and I don't really get into the whole thing with this, but this is putting out PMF, so it doesn't need the gel for that. And the red light doesn't need the gel, but it has magnetic functionality coming out of those that you would need the gel to optimize what you're doing. But that's on another call. But you put a little bit of that on there, you're going to get enhanced effect, ultrasound effect. And the ultrasound is very important. One of the 7 core technologies they have an even special name, I don't remember what it's called, but cell breakup or they have some little phrase in the literature to break up things internally in terms of cell and fat reduction. So you would want it. Now you can use this through your clothes. Okay, it's not recommended that way because the optimal way to get the most effects of this is on your skin. Okay, but you could put this on over a shirt, a thin shirt, and you're still gonna you may not get as much of the ultrasound but red light can penetrate that, and PMF can certainly penetrate that. So you can still get benefit from that, but ideally you want to use this on your skin. Let's move on. PMF, let's see. So in the manual, it says to use on the same area only 2 times per day with a 4-hour interval, right? So we've heard that, but a lot of us do it the same place twice a day. And at the convention, we had one of the top distributors in the company was featured when he was talking about how he lost 40 pounds in 4 months. So you're just using the shaken, not changing anything in his life, but just using the shaken. So everybody wanted to know what he was doing. And he said, all I did was I'm using that 6 times a day, which he meant is front and back is once, front and back is twice, front and back is 3. But that's not in the manual. The manual says only use it twice a month or twice a day, right? And so some of you won't do anything that's not in the manual. And some of you that wants to lose 40 pounds in 4 days, 4 days would be good. 40 pounds in 4 months, you might experiment. So as always, we talk about low and slow. Okay. So start out and see what you're experiencing. If you want to accelerate certain things that the shake can help you with, then you might go to 3 times a day. I'm doing it 3 times a day. Remember, because I'm from New York. But if you're not from New York, if you're from California or Florida, then do it whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay. But I'm going to give you a couple of techniques that can actually accelerate the effects of this and the results. So one is to go to 3rd session. And but that does take time. I mean, because now you're talking about 40 minutes 3 times a day, and you got to figure that into your schedule because you want to stay regularly with this stuff, like anything consistent. So I know I had to figure out a schedule. What am I going to do this every day to because if I don't, my wife's nagging me. Did you do your shaking 3 times a day? So now in order so I can avoid the nagging, I have to have my schedule right in front of me, so I know what time of day I can do it, right? However, guess who just ordered a shaken for herself? My wife, right? And why? Because she's seen what's happening with me. She's seeing me losing inches. She's seeing my moods improving. She sees my sleep is better. She sees my digestion. She sees me not chugging Tums. I don't chug Tums, but it sounds funny. But I'm just saying, those are very unpleasant things that we can have. I've seen testimonies for people who have improved. They don't have constipation anymore. That alone, okay, somebody will spend thousands just to experience that, because if they have problems with that, that could be lifelong issues where they have gut issues, they have constipation and so forth. Okay. Of course, with all of our devices, hydration is so important. Same thing with this, because and you want to be drinking some warm water because you're heating up in that area through the PMF, through the red light, through the heat, and all that, and that's very therapeutic. And you're detoxing and heating up that area, and you don't want to be, while you're doing this, be drinking some cold lemonade, okay, before, during, or after. So be cognitive of the importance of hydration to help remove toxins, to help carry the energy that is in your blood and in your water in your body through your whole body. And because these are dehydrating things we're doing, but it's good what's going on, but you want to replenish yourself with water. Okay, so I talked about the vagus nerve stimulation, the smart OlyWash. Okay, now we get into
Hey, John, couple quick questions, just to answer a few as we go along, since before you leave the watch. So I think we're all aware and sensitive to EMFs that come from Bluetooth device and so on. So there's some sensitivity for folks, isn't counterintuitive, right? So I think the idea of wearing it for a short period of time before you do your shaking, that's good. People are asking, can I wear the watch while I'm on the P90, P90 Plus? Well, that's a higher intensity, and the manual does say not to wear electronic devices, including the watch there, just to answer that question.
Right.
So just wanted to kind of put that out there in case you had additional comments, but my thoughts were, yeah, and we would love for OlyLife to come out with a watch that does not transmit the EMFs, but right now that's what we have. And so on that note, wearing it a little bit before you use the device and then taking it off would be a solution for that. Is that
Yeah, I would
fair?
say maybe 15 minutes maybe. That's what all you need for it to test you, and
Yep.
then once you get going, then you can take it off. You don't have to be wearing it through the whole thing. But I think there's quite a benefit to have the AI say, here's, what I think you need to do for the moment. So those are good questions. I hadn't really thought about that, but some people are very, very sensitive to
Well, yeah.
EMF,
I mean, in general, that information's out there, so that's how we can respond if we want to use it. Just be cognizant of your
And
time.
then don't use it. I mean, if you're that sensitive, and there's some people that are, is you can press the button and manually operate the device and so forth. But the AI component, it can really potentially really customize it for you. So when this is running, okay, and you got it around your belly, what I discovered was I used a little tester, and I ran it around the top, and the magnet was jumping around. Okay. So what that showed me was that it primarily putting PMF out the back into your stomach and area, but it's also emitting some PMF along the top. Okay. So why I'm bringing that up is I started experimenting while I have this on there. If I'm not reading or playing pickleball or something while I have this on, that's for you, Doug. That's a pickleball joke right there. All right. So
Love
so we want to hear from Doug if he wears this while he's playing pickleball. That's a whole nother story right there.
it.
I'll recommend it, right? But anyway, so let's say you have this on your stomach. If you put your hands right on the top, okay, that PMF is stimulating the acupuncture points in your hand. I'm just saying, this is like an extra. If you're just sitting there and through the vibration and the PMF coming out there, stimulating your hands and relaxing, the vibration is just relaxing, as well as stimulating you. So go read up on the benefits of stimulating all the acupuncture points in your hand, and you're going to start putting your hands on there. So I'm just saying that's an extra little bonus, the idea to experiment with. Okay, now there's nothing in the manual talking about that you can't use this, say, with the Galaxy goggles. However, it does recommend that you don't use this at the same time as you have your feet on a P90, P90 Plus. So what they really recommend, OlyLife in the manual, is that you do this front and back, or front, whatever you do there, and then put your feet on a P90 Plus. And they talk about that can help with detoxification and getting stuff out of your body that this may be stimulating. Okay. And I think it was a question about that detoxification.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So there again, that's why drinking the water is very important. And then if you really, really are concerned about that, and you should be, because you want to get stuff out of your body that shouldn't be in there, then ideally you do this, and then you do the P90 or P90 Plus afterwards to help encourage detoxification, which can happen in a lot of different ways. We won't go into that right now, but right? It wants to get some of that stuff out of your body. Now, I have, if you don't want to do this necessarily 6 times a day, or you're from New York and you like to say, how can I really accelerate all the experiences with this? I'm going to give you 2 ideas here. And I love these ideas. I'm having fantastic experience with it personally. Okay. So for one thing, you're running this. If you have a P90 Plus, don't put your feet on it, but if you run in this, okay, I run this above my belly. This is running on my belly, and I'm running this on my belly with the red light, PMF, the heat, the vibration. It's accelerating what's going on in terms of gut health and wellness. Uh, if you like to experiment with this, try it out. Not everybody can handle that. Some people are very sensitive, and they can only go on intensity 1 for 5-10 minutes a day. That's fine, but if you can handle it, and you want accelerated results, like me, okay, I started experimenting with this, and this is really fantastic. Running that right along your belly, right along the top there, with all the modes going out, it accelerates it because you're putting more PMF into that. And there's some discussion out there in the field about not running devices at the same time, and they can interfere, whatever. But all of the OlyLife devices, when we're talking PMF, they're all focused around the Schumann resonance frequencies and grounding. Okay, so it's not like this puts out 5,000 terahertz and hertz, and this is totally, no, they're all really tuned to the same concepts. So you're adding to the PMF this is my view on this, all right? And my experience with it, doing both, whatever, it was definitely accelerated, and I love the idea of doing that. The other thing you can do is if you have a Vitality one, similarly, okay, put it on a little heat temperature, because you don't want to be on the cool setting here, because again, you don't want to cool yourself down. But you put this on a 1 setting, heat, okay, and run that along top of your belly. Now, you not only are you getting PMF, but you're getting terahertz in there. And for 4 years, I was selling devices with terahertz. And one of the things that a lot of people experience with the terahertz was a weight loss and accelerating that. So now you could be using this with putting the PMF and the terahertz, which can penetrate into your body, and accelerating that.
John, I love what you're saying here too. You're giving folks ideas to try, right? So you're talking about, so the shaken does not have terahertz. So there's a solution to add that. There's your 8th technology that you could add if you had it on the body shaping or sculpting mode.
Yep.
Love that. But these are suggestions to try, right? It's not in the manual. We're not seeing contraindications there. So let's everyone keep in mind ideas to try. Listen to your body.
And we'll go back and have other calls on more advanced stuff using Vitality One, because there's like a ton of stuff I haven't really addressed yet. But one of the things on the P90 Plus that they recommend is that you don't use other electronic type devices. Now, a lot of people interpret that they're talking about the attachments. Okay, I don't agree with that. And that's a whole nother call talking about that. And Ricky Bernardino, he's the same thing. He's done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of demonstrations. Yeah. People have their feet on P90 Plus and they're using this, and it's accelerated their experience. Yep. Me too. But there are people out there that are attacking me and Ricky and say, no, that's totally not, doesn't work that way, whatever. I said, well, whatever you want to say. All I know is that it's not. These are all tuned to very similar frequencies. And so why am I bringing that up? Okay, so I read that if they're talking about have your feet on P90 Plus, that you wouldn't want to use some third-party frequency Rife machine device, or plasma, or anything. All right, you'd want to use just the OlyLife platform, and if you're using this, my experience is it accelerates and enhances, because I've used this separately and with my feet on P90 Plus, and definitely it feels way better and deeper, the compatibility and synergy of the two. I, though, recommend not to have your feet on the P90 Plus and have in your hand something that's plugged into the wall. Okay? Because that could potentially cause a circuitry issue. Okay? So if you want to use the Vitality wand while you have your feet on P90 Plus, then put this in the rotating, oscillating stand. Okay? So it's hands-free. If you not everybody can handle that. Some people, they want all of that. Okay, I'm not recommending it for everybody, but I'm just saying I love it. I feel it feels great for me, but not everybody would want to do it that much. But some people say, no, what's give you the maximum frequencies and wellness experience. So if you're going to use this while you have your feet on the P90 Plus, then I would put down the stand and let it go hands-free, because I don't want to hold things in my hand that are plugged into the wall that potentially could cause a circuit issue and so forth. So and on a former call, we talked about the I really make sure I want to bring this up. We talked about some different ways of using the Galaxy goggles, right? But I saw a woman post on here. She was excited, and she's putting that around her neck. Okay, and I totally don't agree with that, because you don't want to put stuff and address the thyroid area. Okay, that could be potentially dangerous there. So it's one thing to put this on your mouth if you're putting PMF into your mouth area, but I wouldn't be using this or any of these devices right directly on your neck. If you do it, nobody's telling you can't do it. I mean, do it at your. There is a risk there, and most distributors that know how these things work and ChatGPT, they all say no, don't put stuff directly right there on the thyroid issue, because there's some sensitivities and stuff for it. Okay. So if anybody has any questions of why my wife is nagging me, we can talk about that.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I think I'm looking at the questions right now, John, and just to give you a moment to catch your breath there, because you're covering a lot of these. And so folks, if you came in a little bit late, use the Q&A section. If you don't see it, go to more, then you'll see it there for questions there. You did address, using the shaken while your feet are on the P90 Plus afterwards. John, did you come across anything? I know you talked, okay, you're in New York. How many times a day can you get it in? I haven't seen anything that talks about a 4-hour break in between, right? So the P90 Plus suggests that. Have you come across anything? I have not, but I might have missed that too. And so which then leads to how many times per day?
Yeah, it's in the shaken material, and it says 4 hours.
Thank you.
Actually, it says give it 4-hour rest too. Okay, so that's something to consider.
All right, so front and back, that's one session, then wait 4 hours, correct?
Yeah.
And then someone asked if they wanted to hit, say, lower and then upper abdomen versus spinning it around.
You could do that. You could do that.
And then
Just
give
in general, the most recommendations are that front and back is the
but
session.
if we think 40 minutes, then is a session, whether you do
Right.
two in the front or one front, one back. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
a
to
lot of
answer
people
some
do upper and
questions.
back. Yeah, if upper back is great, if that works for you. But there is a real benefit to doing the back. Putting an arm on the back is not just if you have back pain. Because again, the PMF can penetrate like 8 to 10 inches through your body. And so it's also getting into your stomach area and gut area from if you have it on the back. Now that's an interesting thing too, because even not too long ago, I realized I wasn't doing it right, because I would slide around the back, but I realized it was up too high. Okay, on my back. And I realized I'm not getting the full benefit here because it was up a little higher. So if you're kind of a hefty guy like me, you have a godlike figure,
You said godlike, right?
godlike, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Just want to make sure everyone heard. Okay.
Yeah, that's another New York joke right there. So I'm just saying, I realize I have to push my shorts down a little bit and get this down lower in my lower back. Okay. And so I started doing that. I'm realizing, I haven't really been doing it as effectively as I could because I needed to get down there. And just as a consideration, not that you're doing anything wrong or it's going to hurt you or anything if you have it up higher, but ideally you want to get down a little lower into that area, into the stomach area from the back. Again, the PMF will penetrate 8 to 10 inches. Most of the other things only go a few inches, the red light, the ultrasound, or whatever, but that's still enough to get in there and start activating things. We're also affecting our blood is flowing through that area. Blood flows through your body, every cell in your body once a minute. So it's flowing through there. And we're not even talking about traditional Chinese medicine. There's all kinds of acupuncture points and meridians, and there's chakras, I mean, which is Indian, Ayurvedic. That's a whole nother discussion right now. I'm just saying in general, they have good recommendations, but you have to experiment. Either go slower and lower at first, or try some of these other techniques if you want to move it up. But these are all options. Okay. Other questions there? Or?
Yeah, there's one question, and I'm going, thank you. So they were talking, one question was about using the Frost Age Beauty around the neck or thyroid too. John, your thoughts are any of the technologies directly over the thyroid we most likely want to avoid. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good question because I'll address some of that stuff next month, and we can talk about P90 plus and the detachments. I want to do a little more research on that because that
Okay.
does bring up an interesting thing.
Yep.
And I have to look at the strategy. I mean, I'm not doing the frost age, but my wife is starting to do it. And I have distributors that are loving the frost age, and they're about to do 30-day challenges, and they just this whole thing is they're loving that. And my wife has a device. Yeah, she stole my frost age again. But anyway, she's got a device that does similar things to the frost age, $5,000. That thing, and it doesn't have PMF. It just uses radio frequency. And that, of course, the frost age doesn't have PMF, but it does radio frequency type stuff. And but $5,000, and she uses that almost every day, right? And I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, see, a lot of people don't realize how valuable these attachments are. And when we go into the P90 Plus, I'll show you the insides of the P90 Plus. There's a whole section in there totally devoted to these two attachments. Nobody else has that. Everybody else has foot devices, and they go, "Oh, ours is just like this." They don't have that whole section there that's devoted to this thing, and why it's so powerful, what it does, as well as the frost age. So those are not just little throw-ins; those are very, very powerful, wonderful attachments.
Very good. I think we're doing good. We have someone bragging because they have two shaken and they want to know if they could wear one on each thigh. So looking for.
I forgot two really important things. Thank you for bringing that up. Wow, I would have been really mad that I hadn't brought these up. All right, so this is a cool session. This is John's. It is a really cool thing. So I'm about to tell you. All right, one thing. Oh, and by the way, I told you about the air massage pads, right? Also, this is not just for convenience. This is also flexing when it's massaging you. It's purposely designed that way. The part of the massage that's going on there, okay? And the air massage. So I thought that was kind of cool. I experimented. I have some knee issues, okay? So I took off all the straps, and I figured out just with the one little strap here, I can put this around my knee. It perfectly fits around my knee, and I attached it here. Let me tell you something. It's fantastic. Okay. I've done. This has accelerated my strategy for getting my knees. Rather than do knee surgery, I'm doing this. When I did that for 20 minutes, I got up and walked around, and I was like, "Look at this! I'm walking around like a regular guy. I can't believe it." Just from that. Okay.
I did the goggles on my elbow.
Yeah.
I had to
No.
pull it tight, but
Yeah.
same idea.
It's not. That's not as powerful as the shaken.
Correct.
But it's good. It's good to do that if that's what you have. But the shaken is more powerful with the red light, the ultrasound, all that on the knees. Then I did 20 minutes on one knee, and I went over and did 20 minutes on the other knee, and I started walking around. And that's part of my daily strategy now. I'm just saying, experiment with that. Now, I just saw the other day, I think Luigi posted this. I saw somebody, I didn't even think of doing this. They're on their bed and they have this over their ankles, down at the end of the bed, right? So they're laying there and they have their feet extended, and they have this setting one ankle into here and one ankle into here. And they're marveling at the experience they're having there. Now, if you place this about 4 fingers above your foot, that's a great acupuncture point area that can affect so many things in your body and your meridians and whatever. And maybe you have some leg issues, maybe you have some feet issues. You might want to experiment with that. I haven't done this yet, but I'm looking forward to it. You could actually, then I realized you could actually do the same thing with your knee. You could be laying there and have this laying over both knees, okay, and run. And you don't need to use the watch for that necessarily. You just turn it on and then just lay it on your knees and have it work. I'm going to actually try that today. I just even thought about this prepping for this call. I'm thinking, wow, this again, don't put this right in your neck. All right, that's the only recommendation I have there. But you can try different things, like Doug, you did the thing with the Galaxy, and people are trying this. But that I know personally is fantastic for the knees, and even putting over your ankles if you're dealing with any kind of leg issues. I know some people. I get lots of women call me up and they will contact me and they go, "What do I do for my thighs?" Right? I don't know. I'm just saying, try that. Put that around your thigh. Okay, run it.
Love it.
I wish
John,
I'd
we
done
have
that.
just looking at time here, and I want
Yep.
you to look at your notes, but let me bring up one question that's brought up. So, obviously, there's some changes with OlyLife product availability and so on that we're aware, and OGC coming up with new announcements. But right now, we are positioning different technologies with our prospects, right? And so, when do you lead with the P90 Plus versus the Shaken and the goggles? Because some can be positioned as targeted efforts versus full body. Um, I'll just throw this out there, John. Love your feedback, and then if anyone else wants to put in the chat your thoughts as well, please do, because that's why we're here. We're here to help one another. But when I'm talking OlyLife and talking technology, I still am leading with the P90 Plus, and I'm leading with it because the full body effects, and then it does have 2 attachments that allow for some targeted focus, if you will. The Shaken, does have predominantly, I like how you said it, can it do a number of things? Can it help with sleep and things like that? But if we think of that as a gut health, have people address some gut health issues with the P90 Plus? Yes. Have people had some vision changes maybe with the P90 Plus? Possibly, because we're addressing inflammation. But I think the goggles are targeted. I think the Shaken is targeted. That's how I think about it. But what are your thoughts? What have you put together as you've been talking? And obviously, the Vitality one is a whole nother story there. But what are your thoughts on what you're seeing as far as leading with and positioning the different technology that we have? And let's just talk P90 Plus, Vitality One goggles, and
Yeah.
Shaken.
So I'm totally in alignment with you, Doug. What your recommendations are there. I didn't start out that way because I've been selling wands
Mm-hmm.
from another company for 4 years, and I've got some of them back there gathering dust. And and on many calls I talk about this. This makes all wands in the world obsolete. What it does, it's very versatile in terms of targeting areas and doing some things. But however, very quickly I became a P90 Plus believer. I didn't even order one at first. I just ordered a wand. I regret that now because I could have made a lot more money if I ordered a bunch of more products. I didn't know how the comp plan worked at the first, right? Ricky was the same way. He only ordered a wand, and he and I ordered wands in December, and then quickly we ordered all the other products. But we said, oh, we didn't read the comp plan well enough, right? Anyway, which is a whole nother call. But the point of the story is that I didn't order the P90 Plus at first because I had 4 foot devices from another company, and I had like $15,000 invested in all those, right? And I'm thinking, why do I need another foot device? But I quickly became aware after my research, and I'm seeing all the testimonials, and I'm thinking, this sounds like it's a different bird. This is, I'm gonna have to order one because the results they're getting with this and experiences are just phenomenal. And then I know Ricky's the same way. As soon as we put our feet on this, they go, oh, this is definitely a different bird. All right. And now, since I've gotten inside the machines, and I have them because I can take them up and look at the insides both and research, I'm thinking this P90 Plus, there's no competition to this thing, especially for the price. Nothing compared, and the attachments. But it uses a different technology, and we're regularly getting attacked by a lot of PMF aficionados out there in the field because they're all going, oh, it doesn't have PMF. No, they don't understand. This is the first in the world, whole new technologies, the way it does it, and it puts PMF in there, and it does, and the terahertz, and the way it does it is unique, and then the results are there. I mean, every day the results are pouring in. So I saw that real quickly. I ordered one. I put my feet on there, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, this wholly feels differently, and in terms of so many different ways in my body and so forth. So I too now let be with the P90 Plus. Although, and then the other part of this is I was used to selling for 4 years products that only cost $300-400. And so I'm thinking, I'm used to that, right? I'm
Yeah.
coming in here. They got, oh my God, they got products cost $1,500, $1,000. And all of a sudden, I mean, within a couple of conversations, people were ordering. They were spending $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. I had a woman a couple of days ago. She bought all the products, right? And because she saw the picture, right? And so I agree now. I could see where the average sale is $1,000, $1,500,
Yeah.
and very quickly people go, "This is working. All right, I want to order goggles now. I want to order the wand." God, John, I didn't realize the wand could do all that. I got to order. I should order that to begin with. But the P90 Plus for sure is the flagship, device for
Yeah.
me.
Thank you. All right. So I'd love to hear some. Let's see in the chat. Let's throw out a different number. How about some eights? All right. So for John today, we have John. Do we have to wait till the beginning of September? And we will talk about September. The first Monday in September is a holiday here in the U.S. So we'll kind of confirm the next one, if you will. But think about what was covered today, right? So we talked about, while we know how it was initially introduced to us, the Shaken was introduced to us, but you're leading with a gut health conversation that lends to so many benefits for the immune system, everything else. You get your gut health squared away, so many different things happen there. You talked about the watch and the power of the watch, and we had some thoughts on using it 15-30 minutes if there. Where to find the serial number, we got that right. I didn't know about the airbags in the strap, so thank you for that. I love that. You showed us the testing for the PEMF. You talked about where to put the gels. Would you remind if we want to put a little bit of gel, is it the larger circles or the smaller ones?
Yeah, the bigger circle.
Yep, thank you. That was a question there. Just want to make sure we have that. We talked about the number of times per day. Front and back is one session. That's 40 4-hour breaks in between. We talked about if you're going to use, say it with the goggles or use it with the red light, Revitalux, or you're going to use it with the Vitality Wand on the stand, stay OlyLife in that instance, because we know everything is functioning within parameters that are consistent with the other, if it's PEMF and PEMF and PEMF, it's all in the same ranges there, right? There's a lot covered today. And I know you could have, you have more and more, and that's why we're going to keep doing this. John, anything else that you want to add to close today? What we did, I think, did a pretty nice job answering the questions as we went along there. I think I got most of them. I may have missed a few there, but I think we got a lot of them covered there. John, anything else?
Yeah, only to answer the question that Luigi always asks me. Every call I do, he goes, John, you said some good stuff. But by the way, John, are you interested in the wealth part? Or do you just like the machines and the products? And every time I have to answer, Luigi, I'm very interested in the wealth part. And this is amazing to be here, but it's so fun to have these kind of technologies and be at the forefront in the world of what these can do and help people. and the wealth is there that comes along. And it's just wonderful to finally realize that everything in your whole world in life has maybe led you to this place, and you have the opportunity to help so many people, and even yourself. So yeah, it's very exciting time.
It is super exciting. You think about, I was on a phone call 2 weeks ago with a practitioner who started with the P90 Plus, but was very interested in the goggles. And I had both he and his wife on the call, and I brought up the shake, and it's like, well, what's that? And it was because of how the conversation and my initial conversation started with the practitioner. We were focused on the P90 Plus, that I did not make sure he and his family wife were also aware of the other technologies. Well, as soon as they heard about the shake, and it's like, boom, two right away. That's before we had our delay in receiving those. So I think whatever you lead with, making sure that folks are aware of the other technologies is just a prudent practice to have there too. John, I believe we had our record number of attendees today. I saw as high as 220. So congratulations, and thanks for everyone who's investing some time and setting time away. I love the comments that are happening in the chat and helping one another there. The questions were fantastic. So